Hey kids and cadets, LexxxInStereo here. This is the umpteenth billionth time I've tried to record this video, so let's go to it. I want to start by apologizing for the amateurish quality of this video. I do not have the recording equipment of some of my counterparts, but everybody's got to start somewhere, and I'm okay with it. Alright, for those of you who don't know me, I am LexxxInStereo. I'm going to start this video out by kind of giving a shout out to a couple of friends of mine who have kind of encouraged me to do this along the way. Musical Anti-Hero here from his channel in Canada. Hello. And the Crystal Street Boys over at Crystal Street Comics. Graham, Tannen, you guys are wonderful people. Always a pleasure to hang out with you. It's kind of been awesome for you guys to back me and encourage me to do this. So here we go. Why am I starting this channel? First of all, before we do anything, I have my handy dandy notebook here. I have my entire thing outlined before I start talking, complete with drawings in the margins. The reason that there is a penis drawn in the margin of this is because when I get nervous, I make horrible jokes. My nerves are terrible people. They cause me to say god-awful things. If you do not believe this, I was unscripted on Musical Anti-Hero's channel for a little bit, and pretty much all it was dick and hooker jokes, so I don't really want to be known as that girl, so we're gonna not do that, or try not to. I don't know how well that's gonna work. Those of you who know me know that I write a blog called Pumpkin Pie and Xanax. I update it couple times a month. I should be updating more, but things have been going on in my life, and real life has to trump everything else. I kind of look all haggard. I've been trying to record this all night, and quite frankly, it's been a learning experience. We'll just put it that way. I'm hoping that this video does not come out as choppy as some of the other ones did, and might actually be salvageable. Like I said, learning experience. Right now I am recording just kind of from my bedroom, sitting on my bed, just kind of coming at you as is. It's way not as sexy as it sounds. Sometimes on my channel you will see me recording from another location. That's at the Crystal Street Hub, where I kind of have an office and a more intricate looking nerdy background. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, why did you name your blog Pumpkin Pie and Xanax? Well, to put it mildly, when I was still with my ex, about 4 years ago is when I started the blog, and he had this really high maintenance family, and I started it around Thanksgiving, actually on Thanksgiving a few years ago, and I was just, kind of tongue-in-cheek, like, I hope I survive this holiday. What can I not make it through this holiday without? Oh, I know, Pumpkin Pie and Xanax. That's it. That's yeah. So that's pretty much the story of my life. Social anxieties. Yeah. So other than watching me be awkward on camera, pretty much this is just a learning experience for everybody involved, I guess. We're gonna do it together. Yay, channel. What can you expect to see here? Well, pretty much, I am going to either be talking about video games, comics, weird news, writing, reading, things that kind of occupy a very sort of limited sphere within what one could consider to be like geek programming and geek media. I am a huge comic book fan, and I'm going to take this moment to actually give a thank you to somebody who has kind of encouraged me. Scott Nicewander over at Comic Misconceptions and NerdSync Productions. That guy is awesome. If you like comics at all, if you have never checked out his show, please go do so. He's an amazing he's an amazing podcaster, but he's also an amazing YouTuber, and he is wonderful to his fans. I can attest to that. And he has, been kind of wonderful to shoot some ideas off of and talk to, basically just via Twitter. But he's kind of been instrumental in getting me to start all of this, so thanks, Scott. So we're gonna, you're gonna be hearing a lot about that. You're gonna be hearing a lot about interactive media, just YouTube in general, question and answer stuff, live streaming, stuff that I'm just starting to get into. I know that these forms of media are a bit older now, and they've kind of come into the social consciousness, but I was very hesitant to jump on board for a while, namely because of the fact that I have looked at other YouTubers and their comment sections and what a shit show it can become, and I was really hesitant to sort of put my face out there with everything, but as my opinions on things have evolved and as I've sort of grown into what I want to do and what I'm becoming, it has become a necessity for me to be able to reach my audience as well. I think that when you can put a face to the person bringing you your art, your media, your whatever, you put everything into a different context. I think that interactive media is, I don't know, it's just awesome. I mean, we live in a world, in a time where pretty much everybody can have a voice if they want one. And it's really kind of a unique thing, if you really think about it. I mean, in the past, writers haven't been able to be so independent, creative people haven't been able to be so independent, and I think that just bringing stuff directly to your audience is actually just kind of an incredible opportunity. And, just basically whatever's on my mind, whatever I'm doing. If I'm doing cosplay stuff, you're going to hear about it. If I'm doing, writing stuff, working on storyboarding for the comic, or whatever I happen to be doing, you're probably going to hear about it. If I'm reading something, which there's a good chance that I am, because for the last few years I've tried to read a book a week, and for most years I've made 52 books a year. So I read, pretty heavily. And as a writer, I think that's really important, because I feel like if you're not reading, you're not doing half your job. So basically everything that I say in here is, of course, my opinion, and one of the things that I really want to encourage as this becomes a show and it evolves is commenting, interaction. Pretty much if you address me in some way, I'm going to try and answer it. I think that's important. If I'm taking the time to put this stuff out here and you guys are taking the time to comment on it, it's important to me that I get back to you. Unless you're just going to sit there and say, get your stupid fat face off my TV or my computer monitor or whatever I happen to be watching you on. In which case I'll just say, hey, don't click on my video. That simple. But, more than anything, I just want to kind of expand the reach that I have to communicate with people. I really believe that I stand to learn a lot from my audience, or from people that could become my audience, or from people that maybe just stumbled here by accident. And, it's important. It really is. It's the way things are going. And that, to me, is a really exciting thing when you think about it in those terms. This is the 11th or 12th time I've tried to record this tonight, so I'm kind of rattling it all off by now, which is actually good, because the first time I tried to record it, I was all like, So, there is that. There it is again. I'm going to try not to edit my videos a whole lot. I'm watching the playthroughs of things, and one of the cool things that's come out of the information age and the media age is, that audiences have gotten really close to, you can comment directly on what I'm doing. And audiences, this day and age, smell bullshit, and I love it. I love the fact that, pretty much overnight you can comment on somebody's stuff and talk directly to them. And if they're, you know, listening, you'll get your feedback answered. It's kind of a cool process. It's a really cool way to hone your craft if you're a creative person or a writer or anything like that. For my good luck charms, I'm kind of superstitious and weird. I have my cute little like Lego looking Harley Quinn doll, and for those of you who don't know, I am pretty much a DC girl at heart. I love comics. I kind of think of Harley Quinn as like my spirit animal. I don't know what that says about me, that the female character that I'm most attracted to is something that started as kind of a walk-on joke in the Batman the Animated Series, and, you know, she is the Joker's right-hand woman who has turned into this incredibly in-depth character, and she's kind of all off on her own doing crazy awesome stuff, but she's also batshit insane. I mean, I don't know what that says about me, that's what I'm drawn to, but, you know, whatever. And I also have my my fourth Doctor Who sonic screwdriver, which is the Tom Baker one. Tom Baker, for those of you who don't know, is the one with the scarf, and yes, I do have a TARDIS around my neck. And he was the one that I you know, was kind of initially drawn to, just because he was just so wild and outlandish and crazy, and, you know, a lot of fun to watch. I have made actually several of those scarves. I knit and crochet and do a lot of like fiber art stuff, and I've made and sold several of those scarves over the years, and I used the original BBC patterns that they released during the Tom Baker era to do it. And each one of those scarves, they're about 14 feet long when they're done, and they take, you know, months to do, and they're so much fun. And every time I do one, I get, you know, a lot of just a sense of gratitude and like just a feeling of accomplishment, like, yes, I've done it. You know, other than that, I'm kind of winging it, in case you couldn't tell. But no, I mean, like, I'm pretty much open to anything at this point. I am trying to get this out there and see what's up, what's going on. If you're hearing me talk about comics on this channel, you're probably going to hear me talking a lot about like the female characters and things like that, mainly because those are the ones that I identify with the most. I am obviously somebody who is female. So I, you know, looking at those characters from the perspective of somebody who's kind of grown up watching how female characters in comics have evolved, even just from the time that I was younger and to now, there's been massive changes in some of these characters, and it's so cool to watch how some of these characters have evolved and how they have changed as society's perspectives have changed, and the writers' perspectives have changed, and the artists' perspectives have changed. And, you know, even just the comic has rebooted or something has happened and they give a whole new take on a character. Like, you know, yeah, I'll focus on the female ones a little bit more than the male ones, but that's mostly just because those are the ones I identify with. I am primarily a DC girl. I've gotten into Marvel more in my later years of looking at comics, and that's mainly just because we live in this kind of age where it's a really great time to be a geek. And when I say geek, I'm not talking about geek in like the negative sense or any sense of like trying to make somebody feel bad about it. When I say the word, I say it out of love. I honestly think that every single person has something that they are just really, really excited about. Whether that's, you know, their favorite sports team or, you know, a comic or a comic character or something of that nature. You can apply it to anything. Everybody's a geek in some way. But it's a really good time to be a geek right now, especially like a geek who's into comics or video games, because so much of what we consume is going that way. I mean, you look at the CW shows and you know, 10 years ago, you know, a show like Arrow or The Flash wouldn't have gone off the way that it does. You look at the Marvel, the Disney Marvel movies, and the way that these are taking off, and even Guardians of the Galaxy, when they presented the cosmic universe in that way, like, watching people watch these stories for the first time is exciting to me, because I remember how I felt reading them the first time and getting introduced to these characters, and then watching generations of new people, even people who are my age and older, getting introduced to these stories for the first time, and people that who never would have picked up a comic are adoring these movies and adoring these characters and finding ways to identify with them. And watching that for me is absolutely incredible to watch unfold. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm not going to make any silly jokes here to close this out. I am just going to leave it at that. It was wonderful to meet all of you, and sometime later in the week I will have another video up where I'm actually talking about a specific topic. So if you have anything you want me to talk about, put it in the comments below. Down here you will see my Twitter, my Facebook, links to everything that I have referenced, the Crystal Street guys, the Crystal Street comic. They do a web comic that's absolutely fantastic. I have actually been in it a couple times, which is kind of cool. Watching yourself being drawn into something is kind of fun. Even though in the first one that they put me in, they did actually technically sell me into some sort of slavery or a harem or something. That's a whole other story, though. That was a comic for something that we do called Marathon Monday, where it's an annual thing where we start drinking at 6 a.m. and we go through till 6 a.m. the next day. I'll link that specific comic just so that you can get the context of it, because these guys are not bad guys. It was just a joke. And they knew that I could take it, so they made it. But these guys are great. They do a great webcomic, and, you know, we're going to go from there. If you guys want to see me talk about anything, if you want to hear me talk about anything, if you want to see something done, interact with me. I love it. You can ask me questions on Twitter or give me suggestions on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter and I will reply to you. I like doing it. And I should have a blog entry up probably by the end of the week about the recording process and kind of what it took for me to get on camera again. I used to be a fairly active performer. I did some stand-up comedy. I did, you know, various forms of performing as far as like dance, acting, that kind of thing. And in the last couple of years, I've kind of fallen away from that. And this is a way for me to reconnect with some of that. So thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me. And let's get this thing started. Bye.